It has finally happened with the Edmonton Oilers in 5 long years. They are finally back on top of the Pacific Division for now after a very interesting win over the Buffalo Sabres yesterday afternoon. We will recap that and break down all the goodies that came from yesterday afternoon's game. But before that, make sure to subscribe here too. Oilers Digest as we just hit 2,600 subscribers on the way to 2,700 and eventually hitting 3,000. If you hit that subscribe button down below, if you haven't already, make sure you help us out by joining the channel. But everyone was expecting it after yesterday's game, but Stu, yes, you heard that many times from the Rogers Place faithful yesterday as the Oilers steal a game against the Buffalo Sabres. Can't believe I had to say that, but what you saw yesterday was exactly that, a mustache on a brick wall with Stuart Skinner as the Edmonton Oilers squeak by the Buffalo Sabres, the lowly Buffalo Sabres, by a score of 3-2. Of course, you've seen this many times throughout the season where the Oilers play down to their opponents, but you know, a win's a win. I can't complain much more about that when it came to the scoring summary. Alex Tuck gets the Buffalo Sabres on the board, making it 1-0 before, you guessed it, Jeff Skinner getting a goal against his former club. You can see that it was the biggest smile on his face so far of the season. And both teams were tied at 1 almost halfway through the second period before Yuri Kulik, after a Buffalo power play expires, making it 2-1. Buffalo is the Oilers PK, or the ending of the PK. They were swimming all over the place. Stuart Skinner, again, did his best, but the Oilers just gassed, and they allowed Buffalo to get the 2-1 goal before Ryan Nugent-Hopkins 5-on-5 doing his thing from Kasperi Kapanen. A nice spin from Kasperi Kapanen, who's just been a dog since he joined the Edmonton Oilers, and I thought that one was going to get taken back. As you can see there, Dylan Cousins, you don't see it, but Corey Perry in the crease, and I thought Lindy Ruff, the veteran coach, was going to challenge it, but he didn't, and if that was Zach Hyman, that would have been challenged 100%, but in the third period, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins again from a lovely cross-seam pass from Darnell Nurse, making it 3-2 Oilers. Of course, the Buffalo Sabres thought they tied it up in the third period, but Yuri Kulik kicked the puck in when, Stuart Skinner thought it was Evan Bouchard who accidentally knocked it in, but no, it was Yuri Kulik, and that one was taken off the board very, very quickly. And the Oilers take this one by a score of 3-2, should have been 4-2, but Leon Draisaitl, you can see there, he can score from anywhere on the ice except if it is an empty net, but still, again, wins a win. Buffalo outshooting Edmonton 42-34. Of course, Buffalo, a younger, hungry team. When you're the Edmonton Oilers and you're expecting, a bottom-of-the-barrel team coming into your building, this is much different. Buffalo, they should not be this bad compared to where they are in the standings. Again, coached by a veteran, Lindy Ruff. And, of course, you have lots of young talent. You have James Reimer in net, who's no slouch himself. But Buffalo gave Edmonton some trouble yesterday. Of course, 42 shots on goal. Buffalo going 0 for 3 on all three of their power plays there, which is good. But again, Buffalo giving Edmonton some trouble. And Edmonton, of course, looked very, very, I don't want to say lazy, but just very sluggish throughout yesterday afternoon's game, with the best line being Matisse Janmark, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, in Connor Brown. It's very obvious that Janmark and Brown do have some chemistry, in Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, of course, being the man that he is on his resurgence so far this season. Had a bit of a slow start, but he is back to his vintage Nuge ways. And of course, Jeff Skinner, Noah Philp, and Kasperi Kapanen. The Oilers, folks, they finally have a fourth line, and that is something I never expected to say. At the beginning of the season with the three lines, and then the fourth line that was just kind of treading water. But Skinner, Philp, and Kapanen, fantastic. Of course, the second line, first line, second line, whatever you want to call it, with Arvidsson, Draisaitl, and Podkolzin, again, looked a little bit sluggish. Draisaitl looked off yesterday, as you can tell by the empty net miss in the third period. But again, no complaints about this one whatsoever. Of course, I could complain about how the Oilers performed, but I can't complain about the end result. Of course, when it comes to the Oilers defense, Evan Bouchard again had himself a bit of a rough game. Nurse and Stetcher, so-so games. I mean, the only defenseman on the roster yesterday that I wasn't really mad about was Matisse Ekholm. Of course, the steady rocking chair blue liner on the back end for the Oilers, and he certainly did his part. Of course, there was that nice poke check on, I do believe it was Tage Thompson, on one of the many breakaways that Stuart Skinner had to have faced yesterday. Of course, the Oilers defense not doing him any favors, but you know what? They got the job done. No way around it there in Buffalo, with the scoring chances there, of course, leading that one 28-24 over the Edmonton Oilers, and leading the high danger chances for 11-10. So again, I can't say this enough. Buffalo, not a bad team on paper. It's just their structure that needs a little bit of work. It seems like they're flying in the zone, looking for a pass before actually, having some sort of structured breakout. They are just, balls to the wall, doing anything to see if it works. And Buffalo, that might work later on down the road, but yesterday, the Oilers eventually kind of caught up to it near the end. They're playing their game, and that's all Buffalo really has to do, is just play their game instead of trying to throw stuff at the wall and see if it sticks. You can see there, it almost got them there in the end with the deserve to win meter from the Money Puck site. They're 57.5% compared to Edmonton's 42.5. It's not too often you see the Oilers on the losing end of these deserve to win meters, as they normally have the puck pretty much the entire game. But folks, the real storyline from this one, Stuart Skinner, 41 shots against, 39 saves, 2 goals against for a save percentage of .951, and expected goals against of 5.25. So yesterday, a goal saved above expected of 3.25, which is a phenomenal work. I know many of you saying, oh, it's the Sabres, it's not that bad. But for Stuart Skinner, this is a really good game for him to get back into, that mental groove of, the more workload he faces, the better he gets. Of course, you saw the Washington game where he didn't get a whole lot of shots on net. I believe it was only like 11 saves, I want to say it was, for Stuart Skinner, but 39 saves, of course. The more he gets warmed up into it, I should say, again, the better he gets, and that's all you need from a goalie. Just consistency. I've said that many times this season. I'm not a Stuart Skinner hater. I just need him to be a little more consistent. And you saw yesterday, he was on fire. No way around it. And Kris Knoblauch said the same thing. Of course, multiple big saves from the slot. And at the end of the game, when it was 2-1 for them, a couple of breakaways that he stopped. I can go through multiple big saves that he made. And even Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, of course, part of the leadership team, giving his props to Stuart Skinner. We had a guy kicking back there, so we lean on him heavy tonight. Probably a little too heavy. We knew that coming in. If you give these guys any life, they're going to run with it. They're a bunch of young skill players, and they can make you pay. So Stu did a great job. And Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, no slouch himself in his past 5 games. 5 points, which is phenomenal. Of course, many were saying he's only a power play merchant, but 5-on-5, if you stick him in the third line center spot, he's one of the best third line centers in the league, and that pretty much opens up the spot for Edmonton to go get themselves a top 6 winger, and I think that would make the Oilers much deeper. But so far this season for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, 48 games played for 31 assists. And again, I just want to see Ryan Nugent-Hopkins lift the cup. I need that more than anything you can ever imagine. But of course, the Oilers held their own without Connor McDavid. You can't really argue against that at all. But of course, the 3 stars of the game, Stuart Skinner and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, pretty much the 2 reasons why Edmonton won that game. And there's a big reason, coming out of that game, a huge storyline for the Oilers, because guess who is back to the top of the Pacific Division standings? You guessed it, folks, your Edmonton Oilers. From Jack Michaels here, the Oilers wake up in sole possession of first place in the Pacific for the first time in almost 5 years, February 25th, 2020, and we all know what happened 2 weeks after that. The Oilers robbed of a Pacific Division title in 2020, but hopefully they can get back to the promised land this year. Of course, they are 1 point ahead of the Vegas Golden Knights with the 2-game win streak from the Oilers. And the Vegas Golden Knights do have an opportunity to leapfrog the Oilers again tonight, as they do play the Florida Panthers, but just bask in that glory for now. But as Kobe Bryant once said, folks, the job is not finished. And you know what else is finished, though? Connor McDavid's suspension, and he is back tomorrow night. Yes, against the Seattle Kraken at 8:30 Central, 7:30 Mountain on Sportsnet. The Oilers have had Seattle's number quite recently over the past couple years, or ever since Seattle came into the league 4 years ago. But McDavid's back. We might see John Klingberg into the lineup for the first time. If it's not then it'll be against Detroit. But lots of exciting things to get excited about in Oil Country. The type of game against Buffalo yesterday would be the type that the Oilers would lose in recent years, but they stuck through it and found a way to win. And again, they don't ask how. They just see the score sheet and see the important part, and that has 2 points and the W. And we will be back tomorrow for a Kraken Oilers preview tomorrow. Lots of excitement. Like I said, have yourselves a fantastic rest of your Sunday and a good start to the week. Take care. I'm Matt.